Most modern dealership management relies on an outdated model of review. Managers compile 30-day KPI composites at the end of the month to evaluate performance. This creates a data autopsy, where you are analyzing the past rather than defending your capital in real time. By the time a general manager identifies margin bleed or a buildup of frozen capital on a static report, the damage is already done. Millions of dollars evaporate into unrecoverable floor plan interest and vehicle depreciation while the dealership waits for the month to close. The digital dealer partner operates on a different architecture, the anchor and mirror. The base layer, the anchor, is a deterministic ledger. It pulls directly from the dealer management system to establish the absolute mathematical truth of capital flow, bypassing pre-calculated reporting entirely. Information here is an objective physical reality you interact with, rather than a flat metric you passively read. This live data creates what we call the ambient posture. It replaces the traditional dealership dashboard completely. When this interface is stable and blue, it confirms that dealership capital is flowing efficiently. Floor plan obligations, days supply, and operational margins are all secured within acceptable limits. This environment acts as a live physics engine. It maps the literal boundaries of the dealership's financial health based on the data flowing up from the ledger. You do not need to scroll through spreadsheets hunting for anomalies. The physical behavior of the interface itself communicates the exact macro state of the entire dealership group. This ambient posture creates true operational peace of mind. Dealer principals are freed from micromanaging daily metrics, allowing the system to run quietly until intervention is strictly required. However, when a critical operational boundary is suddenly breached and capital begins to bleed, that stable posture violently and completely collapses. The system drops into the red matrix. This is the intervention posture. It locks the interface into open comm mode, assuming an active crisis and demanding human resolution before normal operations can resume. This not a reference guide outlines a severe liquidity trigger, the inventory trust position. A healthy dealership requires a positive balance. Falling below zero means a vehicle was delivered, but the floor plan note wasn't paid. This exposes the group to immediate lender audits and credit revocation. The red matrix isolates the exact deal ID causing the payoff failure. It pulls that specific transaction out of the thousands occurring that day and locks it directly in front of the general manager. The DDP prevents catastrophic banking violations by halting standard operations the moment the trust position goes negative. Across a multi-rooftop group generating thousands of data points daily, the system has to know exactly what broke to trigger the intervention. Through the glass depth visualization, peeling back the red matrix reveals a causation tree, tracing the capital failure directly to the responsible human actor. It achieves this through on-demand reconstruction. The system replays atomic database events to build an exact lineage of trapped capital. This relies entirely on the rehydration protocol. Crucially, the system's artificial intelligence is forbidden from generating, estimating, or guessing any math. Every exact number, timestamp, and user ID must be drawn straight from the daily deal truth ledger. The execution is entirely deterministic. Pairing a reactive interface with deterministic ledger math eliminates the risk of AI hallucinations. Executives receive operational commands backed by absolute mathematical certainty, ensuring they can trust the system with their capital. This deterministic tracing applies directly to used vehicle inventory through a trigger known as toxic aging. A breach occurs when a specific unit crosses the strict 60-day limit. The system targets inventory IDs bleeding floor plan interest, demanding an immediate repricing decision. It also tracks margin bleed, activating the moment a vehicle's cost to market exceeds 100% of retail value. The ledger traces this margin failure backward to its root cause. It will isolate whether the bleed stems from a severe overallowance issued at the trade-in desk or an unmanaged delay holding up the reconditioning process. The red matrix isolates aging and holding costs as physical capital bleeds, marking them for immediate triage. The final core trigger within the red matrix governs wholesale appraisal failure. Intervention is mandated when a vehicle is sent to auction and incurs an aged wholesale loss exceeding 5% of its original cost. The deterministic trace follows that specific financial loss backward from the auction block, through the ledger, and lands directly on the exact employee who misjudged the initial valuation. This trace turns a departmental loss into an individual coaching requirement or a necessary process adjustment. The red matrix strips away operational anonymity. Every lost dollar is linked to an exact, correctable human action. Once the root cause is identified, the interface stabilizes into the exploration posture. The system packages the crisis data using the CCC protocol. This is a strict 3-part checklist presenting the exact intervention mandate to the executive. The first C is capital. This is the exact, undeniable dollar amount that is currently trapped, bleeding, or at risk of audit. The second C is causality. This provides the specific inventory ID, the atomic action, or the specific employee responsible for the breach. The third C is continuity. This highlights the exact operational policy or dealer principal intent that was violated to cause the failure. The CCC protocol removes executive guesswork entirely. You are handed the exact parameters required to fix the failure without having to investigate it yourself. The manager takes the mandate and executes the required action, whether that means repricing a toxic unit or paying off a trust deficit. Once the physical boundaries of the ledger are secured and the risk is neutralized, the system returns to stability. Real-time intervention renders the 30-day retrospective report obsolete. By marrying a deterministic ledger with a reactive physics engine, executives no longer sit as passive reviewers of reports. They operate as active defenders of their capital. In the future of auto retail, you don't tell the system what you want to see. The system tells you what must be done.